Looks like one more swipe, and there he goes. So the Hydra Den is down. He's going to continue warping in units constantly. Cool. Not willing to GG prematurely. He thinks he still has a chance. He's got enough detection. He just needs more units on the field. He's warping in morphing 4 more roaches while Andro continues to warp in Zealots and Dark Templar all over the place. He's going to keep chopping away at these units. Dark Templar now sneaking into the main. There are a bunch of roaches here at the main mineral line for Cool, so he's going to try and defend his main mineral line at least. He's got 5 Dark Templar running around now. Actually 6. He's no stopping these Dark Templar, and Cool has not been able to do any aggression over at Andro's base, so Andro able to mine away. Andro in a very dominant position here, basically keeping Cool on his toes. He has no idea how many Dark Templar are on the field now because their Overseers are just lagging behind enough to where he cannot keep up with these. And finally there's enough roaches here, enough to take out these Dark Templar. Not until after Cool loses 2 hatcheries and lots of drones, queens, and other units. So if we look at army lost, it looks like Andro has lost 28 units worth 5,500, but Cool Guy's lost 138 units, and no matter whether they're drones, zerglings, roaches, overlords, whatever, losing that many units is hugely detrimental. And now Andro's still in the main of Cool, going to try and take out this lair, but of course the Overseers arrive in enough time for these many roaches. He's got 13 roaches, easily enough to take out only 4 little gateway units from Andro. So Cool finally getting these Dark Templar and Zealots off his back. Andro has still continued to warp them in. He's going to have to be sneaky now because of all the detection and roaches on the field. He would do well to split up his Dark Templar, move some of them to the north and some of them to the south, and attack 2 places at once so that Cool will force to be all over the place with his roaches. Dark Templar going down, these roaches do just fine trying to kill them off, and so Andro falling behind a little bit with his army. He's basically got nothing left on the field except for a couple of tier 1 units back at home. He's gearing up, preparing for some kind of counterattack from Cool, and it looks like Cool does have that on his mind. Andro, of course, able to expand freely through that whole altercation, has his 3rd base up and running, 3 more gateways on the field. He's got tons and tons of gateways, an untouched economy still at this point in the game. He's adding on even 2 more gateways, so he's going to be up to, what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gateways. 9 gateways against 2 hatches, and actually those 2 hatches aren't even done yet. Finally, the 2nd hatch does finish, and the 3rd one is on the way. But all these roaches now, and Overseer, of course, got to keep that detection there for when the Dark Templar do rear their ugly heads. But lots of cannons and pretty good placement. These aren't going to be hard to take out unless he hits this pylon. There's 1 pylon powering a ton of cannons right now, but warped-in Stalker's able to kill off a couple of roaches and ward them off anyway. Doesn't even matter where the cannons are placed. So lots of Stalkers still ready to go. Has he been upgrading at his forge? It looks like he has. Let's go ahead and find a unit of Andro. He's at 2-0 weapons. Wow, that's really strong against the very, far behind 0-1 roaches of Cool. I'm surprised that he even has the armor upgrade after all that altercation going on, and his evolution chamber actually pretty injured, but able to regen slowly as all Zerg units and buildings are able to do. He's keeping an Overlord nearby just so he can watch army movement. He's got an Overseer moving in now just to see if there's any additional tech going on. He is going to start contaminating a couple of warp gates. However, since Andro had 9 at the last count, I don't think it's going to matter too much. A couple of changelings trying to run in. Of course, they get spotted by Andro's watchful eye. 2 more changelings coming into the 3rd base of Andro. Probably not going to matter much. He can either pick them off or let them see that there are probes mining. Not very exciting. So, Andro with a ton of Stalkers and a couple of Zealots. He does not have his pylon anymore. It looks like Cool was able to take it out. But Andro on the move now with all these Stalkers. Probably going to be able to do some real damage here. At least going to be able to take out a couple of Overlords and most likely this Queen. Do the Stalkers have Blink? No, they do not. There's lots and lots of... Oh, wow. I'm surprised Cool has this many units still. It looks like he chose to build lots of units just to be prepared for Andro's superior macro throughout the game instead of trying to re-drone as quickly as possible. So, Andro doing a pretty good job moving his Stalkers in unison, shooting away at these roaches. I'm not sure really who would win this battle in a straight-up fight, but with Micro involved, it almost doesn't matter. We'll see who is able to maneuver their units the best. It looks like Andro is probably going to lose all these Stalkers. There are still a ton of roaches on the field. Andro would do well to put a pylon down somewhere while this fight is going on. I mean, he's not really gaining anything by moving around too much. He's going to have to focus down these roaches if he's going to kill anything. This one, for example, only has 11 hit points left. Looks like he is just going to leave them to be slaughtered. He's warping a couple more Dark Templar now, another Stalker line ready to go at his main, or at his natural expansion actually, ready to go just in case those roaches do find their way over here. He is getting a Warp Prism now, so maybe going to be seeing some DT warp-in shenanigans over here in the back behind the smoke perhaps. Maybe not, I don't know. Hydralisk Den now being completed for the second time this game after Andro was able to successfully take out that first one. Are there any Overseers in the area? I don't know. Andro sending one Dark Templar, basically acting as an observer right now, seeing everything in Cool's base. He does make it all the way to the main mineral line. He's going to start chopping away these drones. He's already got 2 kills, 3 kills. He's queued up all the rest of the workers. 4 kills. No Overseer in the area. Even now, all the roaches arrive to try and defend, but their Overseer is so slow to get there. Queen finally trying to chop him up. Will Cool be able to follow him? It doesn't look like it, but all this huge Stalker wall that we saw at the natural of Andro moving out now while he does try to expand here at the high yield. And he is sending a couple of Stalkers to this top expansion, but the bulk of his forces over to the natural. So I like this, splitting the forces like I mentioned earlier with the Dark Templar. Instead, he's going to be doing it with Stalkers. 3-2 Stalkers. Wow, these are heavily upgraded units compared to Cool's 0-1 units. So Andro probably going to be able to take quite a lot of hits with these Stalkers and keep dancing around while distracting Cool long enough to take out this top hatchery. Andro's economy, like I said earlier, has been untouched this entire game. Cool not looking too good right now in the course of the game. Andro being a little bit surrounded here by roaches, hydras, and lings. The Overseer comes over just in case there are any DTs, which there aren't at the moment, but still good precaution there. Oh, and Warp Prism finally does arrive. Andro using all 9 of his Warp Gates to warp in Zealots, take out whatever he can before those roaches and hydras arrive back at the main. He's going to be able to chop down these Zerglings. 3-2 Zealots do crazy good damage against Zerglings. They're going to be able to chop up this Queen, no problem, and I'm saying chop quite a lot, and I'm sorry about that, but it's the first word that comes to mind when I see these Zealots just slashing everything in their path. And a Warp Prism, did he manage to escape with it? Looks like he's got a Dark Templar hanging out and a Stalker. I don't know where the Warp Prism actually ended up, so he probably was able to kill that off. I'm going to check the unit tab just to make sure. Actually, the Warp Prism is still alive somewhere, so maybe just loading up a couple more units. I'm not sure. There he is! Oh my goodness. Couple of Dark Templar right there, able to take out just a couple of drones before the Overseer and Zerg army arrive. That Warp Prism just bouncing back between the natural and the main. That's actually where I lost it. He was over at the natural when I was looking for him earlier. Looks like he's just going to scoot away for now. Not going to try any more warp-in stuff, but so many cannons up at this high yield. He does not want to lose the high yield ever. And, you know, this many bases is probably all he'll need. He can climb up to a 200 army now at this point. He's sitting 60 food ahead of Cool at the moment. He's already got a robotics facility up. He could even make some Immortals to mix in with that Tier 1 units, and it looks like he's gone for some High Templar instead. I was going to say Immortals or Colossi would still do really well here because there are a lot of Lings, and Hydralisk still on the field as well as some Roaches, so it looks like Cool is going for a pretty good mix of units. Andro would do well to stay up with that. Cool making his first real aggressive play of the game, moving in with a lot of Speedlings, a lot of Roaches, and a lot of Hydralisk, trying to kill off whatever it can here at the high yield. He's going to focus most of his army trying to kill off these cannons, but there's so many of them it allows plenty of time for Andro to warp in some Dark Templar and start chopping away. There is still an Overseer in place though, so these Dark Templar are most likely going to fall pretty quickly. The Roaches are now trying to finish them off. And the cannons shooting away at the Overseer. He's going to lose the Overseer. Wow, so if he is able to warp in another Dark Templar there, he'll be fine. Andro, on the other hand, moving in on Cool, seeing what he can kill with his High Templar and tons of Stalkers. It looks like Cool is left with just some Hydralisks hanging out with the high yield. Probably going to be able to kill off that with no problem since Andro is focused elsewhere. He's going to try and take out a bunch of Overlords, actually. Wow, so Cool down to only 68 food cap and losing Overlords more and more. Holy crap, he's actually under food now, 55 of 40. 55 of 36, so Andro doing a good job of limiting the army of Cool. Cool's, after he's finished that high yield, he's going to try and march back home with his very slow, off-the-creep Hydras. It looks like Andro's going to be able to take out basically whatever he wants, though. Cool trying to get his own high yield mineral expansion up. However, he has not had enough units on the field recently to be able to defend that and try and fight off these Stalkers at home. So Andro in a very solid position again here. Looks like that Warp Prism did come back into play. Yeah, he is. Here he is down here, warping in some more Zealots, wiping out the main of Cool, so he's only got... Actually, I think that high yield hatchery might be the only building that Cool has left in the game. Even though he's able to burrow these Hydras, he's only got one building left in the game, and he's not going to make Andro come kill it. He does type out WW, which is Korean for GG, as far as I know. So Andro saying GG. Andro doing a spectacular job here on Metalopolis, able to limit Cool's attacks to virtually nothing throughout the game, only losing one base and killing many, many bases of Cool. So Andro, great job in this round of 64, best of 3 for the Global Gamers Invitational. Moving on to the round of 32. Congratulations. And the round of 32 will be played after retail release, so keep an eye out for that. And many, many more replays here on IC Cup TV's YouTube channel, youtube.com/ICCupTV. I'm Josh South. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.